Welcome to Jurassic World.
Good morning, guests. Welcome to Jurassic World Minute, where we visit Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. Welcome to Jurassic World. Your adventure begins at the ferry terminal. Monorails leave every 20 minutes for Main Street. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're here to discuss Minute 5 of Jurassic World. No Jurassicpedia featured article this week because I couldn't find one that matched in, so we're going to get straight into Minute 5, Dave.
Yeah.
As we entered Minute 4 of Jurassic World, the parents had bid farewell to Zack and Gray, and as the boys made for customs, the father said, "So much for our last family breakfast." At the 6-second mark, Karen smiles as the boys depart. As the father asks, "Did you call your sister?" She replies it went straight to voicemail. The father says, "They'll be fine. She handles 20,000 visitors a day. She can handle 2 more." At the 16-second mark, we cut to a plane landing at the Santa Maria Airport, Costa Rica, as the boys embark on their voyage to Isla Nublar. At the 22-second mark, we cut to Zack and Gray boarding the Isla Nublar ferry, and Gray asking some peculiar questions. At the 28-second mark, we cut to the open ocean, as the ferry crosses the strait between Costa Rica and Isla Nublar. Gray's telling Zack a lot of the stats of the island, but after he sees some girls take notice, Zack backs away, distancing himself from his brother. At the 49-second mark, we get some eerie music as the ferry approaches Isla Nublar, or is it Isla Sorna? I can't tell. These coastlines all look the same. And as the minute ends, the hordes of tourists are disembarking from the ferry, and a recorded voice says, "Welcome to Jurassic World."
After the whole breakfast discussion last minute, the mother's face sort of turns from crying to sadness over her departing children, to scorn for what Scott says, and just said, "Why do you have to say things like that?" So she obviously emotional here because the boys are going away, their last moment together as a family, because we're going to see sort of later that what's going on here with the divorce and everything else. But we get a final show of Zack and Gray walking away, and Gray waves and she smiles back at him.
Mm-hmm.
The father here suggests calling her sister, but the mother says that she goes straight to voicemail, so they've been trying to contact her to say the boys are coming, and we get some backstory here on Claire that she looks after 20,000 people a day, she can handle 2 more. I'd hope I had some sort of recent contact to say everything's still okay, can we still come, because now the boys are going on the plane, they're on their way, whether she's there or knows they're coming or not.
And honestly, I mean, because like you said in the last minute, how Dane County doesn't actually fly directly to Costa Rica, I wouldn't put it past them to that they changed planes in Denver, as they say, or something like that. You know, they went to another larger airport and then went to Costa Rica. You know,
ballpark Wisconsin, where it is in the general America, is it sort of midway? What's in the middle? It's not up near Chicago, is it? It's sort of further south.
It is. It's north of us, so it's within driving distance. It wouldn't take too long to drive there.
Okay, so maybe would Chicago be the closest major one where maybe the connecting flight
They would, but they wouldn't connect a flight there. They'd probably go to like Dallas Airport or something like that, somewhere in Texas in the south end of the country, where it would then take them to Costa Rica.
Maybe Atlanta or something.
Yeah, even Atlanta, but Dallas or Austin or something like that would be large enough to support having the infrastructure to support a large airport like that, and it'd be closer. So they'd probably connect in Dallas or something.
Which, again, Christmas time. Connecting flights, making flights. I suppose it's a good thing they're going down to one of the southern or to a lower down state where you're not going to have snowed-in airports or runways and flights cancelled and that sort of thing. Otherwise, Zara's standing on that ferry terminal waiting for the boys to turn up, and here they are stuck in Chicago with blizzard conditions. But that's where we sort of end the airport scene here. It's sort of interesting looking back at this whole, because we've never really had, apart from, well, in Jurassic Park anyway, we never got much off-island, except for the Dominican Republic with the Amber Mine and Montana.
Well, we did go to, quote unquote, and these are air quotes I'm making right now because you can't see them, San Jose, which was somehow on the coast, which was where Dodson met up with Nedry.
Yeah.
Dodson.
Yes.
Dodson. We got Dodson here.
Yeah, I suppose looking at it too, all the films did have that sort of off-island lead in as well, but I reckon this could have been lifted from an early script or anything of Tim and Lex before they got to Nublar as well from the first film. Pretty much everything we get here, replace Zach with Lex and Tim with Gray, and John, Uncle John or whatever instead of Aunt Claire. This could have been exactly how or what happened with Tim and Lex before they got to where we meet them in the visitor center.
In a way, it kind of reminds me of that, and another way is it kind of reminds me of because there's no adult. Originally Jurassic Park was meant to be viewed from the point of view of a child. It was meant to be like a child's point of view, and then Crichton's publisher said this doesn't work, and readers don't want to see that or don't want to read that. They want an adult character, so he rewrote it from the point of view of Alan Grant. And so I kind of feel that that Jurassic World, in a way, does kind of take that concept of viewing it from the eyes of Zach and Gray versus Grant being the one, or any other adult character, Owen even, or Claire being the ones who lead us through the park. You know.
Yeah. Well, even when we do get to the island later in the next few minutes, it's all the stuff we're seeing on island is through the kids' eyes. The adults are off doing other stuff, general business, maintaining or running the island and everything else. And we're not really exploring the island as much through the adults as what we are through the kids, or the park, I should say. But that's when we cut to some stock footage of Air America plane landing. It looks like something from the 90s. It doesn't look like a new plane at all. And the subtitle suggests that we are now in Costa Rica for only the second time in the franchise. On Santa Maria Airport. I didn't Google that to see where that is in Costa Rica, but it's not San Jose anyway.
No.
I'd assume there's more than one international airport in Costa Rica.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moderately sized. It's not the United States. It's not a big country, but I mean, in the grand scale of things, it's probably... Actually, I'm going to take that back. It's probably a smaller country. It is one of the smaller countries. It probably does not have a Lenny... but just did a quick Google search. There is, in fact, a Juan Santa Maria International Airport in Costa Rica.
Is that on the Pacific side or the Atlantic side?
It is in San Jose, so in the middle of the country.
Ah, so maybe it must be a sister airport. It must be... Unless San Jose is local and Santa Maria is where the international flights come in or something.
True. Or, again, it's taking a page out of the first Jurassic Park and setting something in the middle of the country on the coast.
Yeah. Well, we had the same problem in Jurassic Park 3 where we got San Juan Approach trying to contact the airplane when we know that's another name for San Jose Airport too, so somehow they're spotting the plane approaching Isla from the middle of the country and not from the coastline. But yeah, that's what I get for not Googling and looking into that earlier. We get a shot here in scene 2 as the boys are walking up the gangplank for the Isla Nublar ferry. Gray asks, how big is the island, as in how many pounds?
Yeah, but how many pounds?
I don't even know how you'd quantify how much a land mass weighs, especially when that land mass is connected to more land mass underneath the waterline. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
as Gray said.
Yeah. There's also a lot of people here getting onto this boat. We know it's it's sort of a much larger boat than what we've seen at Sister One at the start of The Lost World, where it's sort of more of a yacht.
Yeah.
We don't know what the capacity of these ferries are. I'm sure if I googled or dug a bit more digging, because they're the in-use ferries over at Hawaii. Novatech 2 or something?
What's that?
The Novatech 2, I think it's called.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is the 2, whereas the one in the Lost World was like the 1 or something like that. It was a smaller model. Yep.
But I wanted to have a look at some logistics here too, and this is where my head gets stuck with some of these films. Flying down to Costa Rica, now boarding a boat that will sail 120 miles out to Isla Nublar. The movie should have made the islands a lot closer than what they are, because I didn't Google that either, but you'd assume these are probably 15-knot boats when they get up to full speed. They've got to go 120 miles. This has got to be a 5 or 6 hour ferry ride out to the island, and we don't know if there should be an airport and runway on Isla Nublar. They got the space for it.
But I think at the same time that that it's meant to be that it's like the first novel again. I think Hammond said that he didn't want an airport because it spooks the dinosaurs. So I could see them kind of being that way, you know.
I suppose too it'd help out the Costa Rican government that if they got international visitors coming through the country to get to Nublar.
But I think that Isla Nublar kind of uses Costa Rica to kind of it's like their airport terminal in a way. They use that to ferry people to the island. You know, I'm not really sure what to call it. I was going to call it, and then I kind of lost my train of thought on that one. Sorry.
Well, you need customs to become an international too. So if all that's happening, their passport checking, all that sort of screening stuff happening in Costa Rica.
And I remember they use it as like an infrastructure, you know.
Yeah.
Because since they don't want to have to deal with that, they use Costa Rica's facilities as their infrastructure.
Well, you imagine if they had an international airport runway, the maintenance staff, all that stuff extra on top of it would be a lot more than running.
They use it to decrease costs.
Yeah. And it's a shame here too when we get this ferry, we don't see any numbers on the side of it. Assumably there's 5, 6, 10, 20 ferries that are back and forth here bringing people, because you have fair enough, a flight of 200-300 people coming in on a 747, a 737 or something. Not everyone on that plane is going to be coming to Costa Rica for Jurassic World. There's going to be sort of a small percentage. Even though here boarding the ferry we see a lot of people. Obviously some people have been flying in during the week for when these ferries depart Costa Rica to head over to the island.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a fleet of them that just rotates back and forth, you know?
Yeah. But we get a good glory shot of the ferry here out at sea. As we said before, it's sort of the same sort of model, and that is what we've seen in The Lost World, which recently fell into disrepair at a Hawaiian dock and was destroyed. We've seen on Facebook those photos of that original.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Interestingly, I do remember when they were making this, and there was rumor that there would be a ferry, and then somebody took a photo of a cruise ship at dock in Hawaii and photoshopped the Jurassic World logo onto it, and we're like, oh my god! And then it came out, oh, it's fake.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, because we do get cruise ships mentioned later on. We just don't see them.
But we never actually saw them in the movie.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they found the original photo and they had photoshopped the logo onto the back of the boat.
Yeah. And as we see later when we get to the ferry, the terminal on Nublar, there's no cruise ships docking there.
No.
We can discuss that more when we get to the end of the film where they're mentioned, but we get a bit of dialogue here from Gray about the island. When it first opened, they had 8 species. Now they have 14 herbivores and 6 carnivores. That's 50 tons of food a week, which, wow, that's a lot of food. But just looking at those numbers, that's about the same as what the original Jurassic Park advertised anyway in the marketing material, the brochures, and that whether they actually had those animals created or if they'll still not fertile, if they'll actual I don't even know what to call that. Active embryos, like they knew they could create them. And it was just going to take time to get them. I'm just trying to think of that park map now and how many paddocks there were.
Well, I do remember that it was it was Dodgson who mentioned that there was 15 species altogether that he wanted off the island, and that I think that at the time it was presumed that not all of the paddocks were filled, because even the raptors were kind of still work in progress, where they're trying to figure out what to do with them because they kept attacking the fences. Yeah. And that's how they ended up in the tiny pen.
Yeah, because I definitely remember there was those that artwork of sort of the dinosaur pen logos and that, where we had more carnivores, but as of now we know that really they only had the Dilophosaur, the Raptor, and the T-Rex created on island.
Well, we also know that they at least had the Compsognathus, maybe not on the island, but they did have it created, and as the Dinosaur Protection Group let us know, they had begun stowing away onto supply ships, found their way onto Isla Nublar as well.
Well, yeah, and that's where the Lost World and Sauna sort of brings in a whole lot more there, where, compies were there, whether or not Spinosaur, Ankylosaur, Edmontosaurus, all those sort of things were... Well, no, we've seen that carcass in the Rex nest, so it was definitely InGen created, but we know there's a lot more species on Sauna, whether they were created back in 93, 94, or whether it was a later Masrani creation there. But we get a sort of POV from Zach as he's looking down at some girls on the deck below, and Gray sees him staring, and Zach sort of slowly moves away after the whole talk, sort of distances himself from his little brother, which they're out in the open night. There's no way the girls heard that conversation. He's being a dick. And then with a look of disappointment on Gray's face, as the two stay apart, not speaking again. And that's when we cut to another shot of the ferry up high as the camera follows it, and we get our first look at Isla Sauna. No, Isla Nublar. Although I'm sure this is exactly the same shot as what we got in the Lost World with that barge heading to that coastline. I think we discussed it in the Lost World Minute when we had the same scene. It is the same section of coast, isn't it?
It's the Napali coast, which they used in the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 as the coast for Isla Sorna. But it is supposed to be. I think the original kind of entry for Jurassic World was filmed on. I'm trying. Let me bring my map up here real quick. Hawaii. Because there's like 5 islands. There's like 7 islands on this chain here.
Well, most it was wasn't it mostly Oahu? No, it was that other.
No. Well, no, it was actually, I think, Maui, where they did the entry point in the first movie, and then this is actually the Napali coast on Kauai that serves as the kind of the exterior, the main island set shot, you know.
Yeah, which a lot of the area you got these mountainous cliffs surrounding the ocean. You're obviously not going to have it sailing towards Gallimons Valley because you're going to pick that straight away. But I found it weird that they've gone with this same section of coast to approach.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing, looking at the maps and geography and that, how far away that, because we get later on with the helicopter approach, comes straight into that valley again, past that rock out in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same approach angle as what the original engine chopper was in Jurassic Park. Maybe it'd take too long to steam up that high to that location, but just something else. Even if it is Gallimons Valley from the coast, and they've just got the CGI monorail station on the side of the rock that we see when we get there. And then it doesn't help too when we get that sort of eerie, slow Jurassic World or Jurassic Park theme sort of playing as they approach.
It was originally something that was at the beginning of... at the end of the full Jurassic Park theme. And we get a few notes of it during the morning shot of the Brachiosaurus tree scene in Jurassic Park, but this is actually the first time it's fully been used in a film.
Mm. Yeah, and again, later on in the film, we get that slowed down version of the new Jurassic World theme too, which could have been in here as well. But it's not that triumphant "Welcome to Jurassic Park" or "Welcome to Isla Nublar" that we've got before. With all the films, really, we get the same sort of mourning or that same sort of droning sound in The Lost World as we're approaching the island as well. But it's just it's really ominous for where and what we're going to see coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not sort of the same here where we've had the bird flocks and that in all the other films, but we can hear seagulls laughing at the boat as it's sailing towards the island here as well, which I thought was a little bit weird. You sort of got them culling in the background or something here as the boat sort of approaches the island. And it's sort of weird here too. They're approaching the western side of the island where we know the ferry side's on the eastern side and the sun's setting.